can't see presentation.
Okay, I'll show you it now. Now it's okay, yes?
Yes, but not in full screen. At now full screen. Yes.
A bit slow processes in my computer, and that's why I have some. I need some time to make the function ready. Okay, about the leadership, that some person always feel themselves good when they only realize the decision, not make them. And another was born with some signs, some peculiarities, personal abilities, which gives them the possibility and desire to rule. And let's start with the definition of leadership. Today I have many sentences of famous person, of famous leaders, and one of them, the First Lady of USA, the wife of President Carter, Rosalind Carter, says that a leader takes people where they want to go. An outstanding leader is where they don't necessarily want to go, but where they finally want to be. That means that a good leader not always make the decisions which are popular. Sometimes leaders should make the unpopular decision for save a state, a nation, and each citizen of it. But sometimes the mass can be disappointed of these decisions, and only after a long term the society realizes that it was necessary steps to achieve some great goal. Maybe the good example of leadership that leaders are always different from the mass, and they provide ideas which are innovative for society. That's why it's not always understood and not always related to some groups, some authorities, some personalities, and sometimes we understood leadership like the part of great personalities who can be a main engine, main actor of any processes. And the second sentence, which you can see, is the words of Dolly Parton, famous author who write down about the leadership. He says that if your actions lead to results that inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and achieve more, then you are a great leader. It also means that leader don't do everything by his or herself. The leader can't realize, can do anything in real policy without the support of its followers. And all the leaders can be a leader only when they have followers and those who can support them and help to realize the ideas. The goal of leader is to mobilize, to propose some ideas, and then to control, to manage all the process, not to do it by himself. That's why in some fields, a manager, a chief of a company, he can be a professional only in management field, not in the field of his business. I don't know what to give like an example. Maybe if he is a chief of building company, he can't put the use the weapons and build the buildings by himself, but he can rule and explain other person how to build. And in politics is the same. In political leadership, it should be a real leader who have the professional education and experience in the field of leadership, not in, I don't know, in justice, in economics, in spite the importance of the knowledge in other ways, it will be his or her advantage if she know more than only a management. But for be a good leader, you should have experience and possibility to inspire person and to check if they understand their decisions correctly, if they have enough of measures to realize these ideas. And I want to ask you, what qualities are necessary to leader? What is the main qualities, for your opinion, to be a leader? Anything which you have in mind? What is the main qualities, main signs of leader?
There should be educated, well-spoken.
If about personal abilities, not the professional.
Active, maybe just.
Yes, thank you. Any other ideas?
Kind, maybe.
Other
Helpful
ideas?
also.
Okay. Sasha?
Maybe also have a great focus on one aim and be disciplined.
Very good. And I give to you this question because I am sure that Vladislav, please.
Yes, thank you. I think leader also should be cold-blooded because, how you said, sometimes leaders need to make hard decisions, and I think at this time they have to have clear mind.
Okay, but as you see, we can mention a lot of qualities, and sometimes for different people it will be different. For different nations it will be different. Or one person can pay attention to the discipline, to calm and cold mind, another to activity, to communication, and each of them will be right, will be clear. That's why the qualities, it's not the only one position to be a leader. And today we speak about the possibility to be a leader in democratic country. And for give some information. Development of this theory, we can mention that the classical concept of political elite based on the idea that any society consists of the elite and a mass. That there are no society which have only elite or only mass. In all state, in all groups, appeared some person who can lead and who try to do that. Even in small groups, in any situation, we can find out the person who try to rule or try to propose its own rules. And like Thomas Carlyle says, the history of the world is a biography of great people. Do you agree with such sentence? Put plus in our chat if you agree. Sometimes we can agree with it because when we watch some news or read about some events, we always mentioned some leaders who present the ideas, the interests of another group. And the theory of the elite concept appeared in 19th century. For this period, it have anti-democracy character, and it have only idea that the mass is always uneducated, in some cases stupid, and it needs only a ruler, one person who can help to the other people to live in an organized society. I can change the slide, that's why I'll try to restart the presentation. Can you see Friedrich Nietzsche statement?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. He thinks that when 100 people stand next to each other, each loses his mind and gains another. And many investigation, many reports at the end of 19th century, at the beginning of 20th century, write and make a conclusion about that the democracy in their direct form is impossible because with the mass, it's very simple to make any manipulation that the leader wants, and that means that the democracy is something like a myth which can be compared with the idea of elite. But after the Second World War, it became understood that it should be compared, democracy and elitism, and appeared the new concept and theories of democratic elitism. The main representative of this concept is James Schumpeter and Max Weber. They make a list of the qualities which is different, which makes it possible to be a leader in democratic state. They pay attention to such position like responsibility, that we can ask our leaders about the results of their activity. And if they are not achieve some goals which they propose, we should support another representative of elite, the opposition, and for such case, to control our leaders. Also, they mentioned such quality like openness. That means that the elite group is open to new influences, new personalities, that each of us can be a part of elite in future, and we can innovate, make it always be young with the new ideas for make the society to progress. Also, the important quality is competitiveness, and for the competitive election we can have as a result of voting the best representative of elite, which have the most important and innovative ideas, and competition between elite take a part not only in politics, but also if politicians make some error, some mistakes, they can be controlled by the economic elite, cultural elite, scientific elite, and so on. Also, the main criteria to evaluate the actions of elite is their effectiveness of decision making. If they can use the available sources and weapons to decide some problems, to solve some conflicts with the with no ability of election and other procedures of creating the elite group, finding out and elected the leaders, connecting with the previous, the removability means that we can remove our leader and change their position, any office, any official position should be not internal, but change from time to time. If we speak about the parliamentary deputies, it should be 4 or 5 years of their possibility to rule, and then we will find out and elect new personalities to the deputies and to the parliamentary structure. And for such example, we have any other officials except bureaucrats, which are not always make their function, but only for some period, some few years for realize their ideas and goals. Also, we speak about as the idea, as a theoretical part, we speak that the leader is like a pattern, like an example of the behavior and he join all the social values. He is the image of the society and their understanding of the best qualities. That's why we often use the sentence that the nation have the leaders with which it desire and which is the same, has the same value as people. And also Weber speak about the higher level of elite organization, because few people and a small group can achieve better results than a big mass group. And the idea of social hierarchy based on the goal of good organization, and it is an objective factor to understand leadership like the part of any society, including democracy. And for today's ideas, today's investigation, we have some features, some peculiarities of exact democratic leadership. Like Eisenhower says, the supremacy of law over personal will means that you will start to tweak the basic law, and there will quickly be nothing left of the country. That's why it is the main thing that is unchanging. For more simple words, we can say that we have a priority of law, and the presidents, the leaders, the officials can change the basic law without the reasons. They can make rules which will be justice not only for them or a little group. They should honor the previous rules, which based on the social development, which created by some objective factors. And for such reason, we can speak that the law priority is one of the basic principles of democracy, which should be taken into account by leaders or any elite groups. Also, in modern society, all leaders are public. They should create their image, have a connection with mass media, and they should show themselves with the best side, best way. It will be a great challenge for some person, and it seems to me that in the 19th century it was more simple to be a leader, because our other leaders, the opposition leaders or enemies of the leader, can use any idea, any fails of their concurrents to make a bad image in mass media. It became discussed for very quickly terms. It is the information overwide for all countries also very quickly, and no leader can control, can stop the information in different social media and so on. And it has two sides. This the publicity, it can be useful for possibility to control the leaders, but it can be a bad factor which make their leaders think only about their popularity, only about their face on TV or some video, not about the global problems, about the some hard decisions and so on. And also, as a continue of the first position, we can speak about the important role of the clear rules of interaction among the different elite groups. For example, the procedure of the candidate providing for any level of elections, how to choose and how to create a list of candidates. It should be an open process in any political party, in any organization. And for the state position, it also always should be clear to population, to people, how they can gain some jobs, state position, how they can become bureaucrats, or how to take a part in any political process if they want, if they decide. And for the possibility to understand the leadership, different groups have their different concepts to understand how to become a leader. The same theory we became to analyze when we speak about different qualities, about that you should be born as a leader, that you are from the beginning have some personal abilities which give a possibility to rule. We speak about the theory of science, or maybe I translate, we can translate it like a theory of qualities, but at the same time, it will be very subjective point of view for leadership, and not always the personal abilities can give the way to leadership. And for some investigation, it is proved that many people can develop some abilities, qualities, which are necessary to be a leader, who have the shy character, who have some problems with communication or decision making. They can study some theories, some practical recommendations, and evaluate, create some personal abilities to be a leader. That's why the opposite theory, the opposite concept is situation theory. It, in general, it speaks about that the circumstance shapes a leader. And practice example that inside some crisis, some emergency situation in some group can appear a person who will calm everyone, speak about the possibility to solve the problem. In some case, it means that if we have qualities of responsibility, activity, and so on, maybe we can provide it better if we will appear in some situation which helps us to become a great leader. And many leaders for a long time wait for their star moment, something like that, to become famous. And it all also have the influence on leadership. But as we see, the situational theory always have the disadvantage to understand leadership only like the circumstance reasons, and that it doesn't matter what is your own desire. You should only wait and to do your best to find out some situation. And the third one is the theory of followers. We can define it by the sentence that entourage makes the king. That if we loud okay to our leader, if we put to him or her a crown, it will feel himself like a king, like a leader. And if we make some applaudissements to the person, we encourage him or her to some action, to some leader position. And also I'd like to mention that leadership we can understand not only as a formal, because when we find out the examples of leadership, we used to mention some official representatives of leaders, like presidents, the the head of parliament, the head of ministry cabinet, and other popular person. But I should remind you that leadership can be also informal. Any representatives of opposition, any leaders of public opinion, like journalists, like leaders of some civil organizations, they also can influence on policy, but not directly, but by shaping the public opinion and mobilize some ideas to the official elites. And also we can speak about the sources of leadership. which are close to the sources of power. Also, the author of these types is Max Weber. As you remember from the topic of political power, he speak about the 3 sources of power, and traditional societies, Asian, African, it is very important to have the tradition to make the king or queen or some leader who have for centuries their power, and for such reason they have the authority in their societies. The second source is charisma. It's a irrational belief that the leader have some unacceptable qualities, that he can present the nation some great achievements, and as usual some totalitarian leaders and demagogues, they based on the charisma source of leadership. And mostly in modern society, modern world, the most popular is legal basement for leadership, when a leader take a part in some competitions like the elections, and as a result of election he became a leader and a part of a lead group. Also, I'd like to mention that leader can use different styles of the ruling of management, and it can be democratic or authoritarian style of leadership. And it doesn't connect with the type of political regime. In a democratic society, it can be an authoritarian style of leadership. The authoritarian style means that a leader by himself make a decision and responsible for it. In spite of any discussions, any proposal of his group, his command, he can make the last, he has the last word in any discussions, and he, like a father in a family, can stop all the discussions and make a decision. In democratic style of leadership, we have a possibility to account the decision by the voting, by some advices, some proposal to the leader, and he take into account that he should make a decision which protected by the majority of his command. And in some types of leadership based on their images. They have very interesting definition, interesting names for the types of the images of leaders. This classification which you see was investigated, created by Margaret Herman, an American scientist. She gives 4 types of leader. One of them called standard barrier leaders. They aspire to radical transformation, known how to lead the masses. They like the flag, they give the idea, and popularize it among the people, try to mobilize to protect, to support such ideas. For this reason, they call it in Ukrainian прапороносці. Their second type, leader servants. They, in any cases, any ways, express the interest of their supporters, voters. They all do everything by the name of people, for people, and underline it in any reports, in any speeches. Also, the merchant leaders, the such group of such type of leaders who capable of persuading the masses, who can manage them and provide the discipline. And firefighters leaders can make decisions very quickly, and they usually appeared in some crisis, some emergency situation, which gives them the possibility, the reason to make quickly respond to the demands of society. Another classification of images of leader by the Ronald Schwarzenberg. He proposed such types like for actors in the theater, like savior of the fatherland, or sometimes it's called hero. He appeared in the most difficult situation and responsible moments for the society, some revolutions, some wars, some deep reforms, and they have the image of savior, of those who save the nation. Also, the first father of nation, which refers to an authoritarian leader, when they try to behavior like the father in family, and would pay attention to the protection, to the discipline again. The magic leader, who is always smiling, relaxed, he can make popular and long speeches. He very good in communication, in contact with mass media, and the image of his own boy, or Semplamenton. In Ukrainian, it's prostak. Such type of image, pay attention that the leader has the same fails, disadvantages as the people, that he have the biography with the when he studied in the simple school, or have a poor family or something like that, and he can wear some simple clothes, no, not brands, he can use the simple words and phrases in their speeches to be close to the people. As a conclusion, we can mention that some in democracies there are some difficulties to realize their leadership position. And like the Giscard d'Estaing says, political leaders forgot about solving large-scale tasks and resorted to satisfying personal needs, got involved with the election struggle. That means, for his idea, for his point of view, leaders with exceptional qualities has disappeared. And I think you hear in many medias, many publications, that we have no outstanding leaders. It's only a person who close to all rules, all demands, and who provides the same policy as the previous president or leader or prime minister and so on. And another difficulty that all the rules, all the positions of providing decisions, they don't let leaders to make some radical decisions, to make some very original decisions, and that they are limited by some rules, and they can have very great results, like the Max Dobbs says. He is a chief of election staff, Margaret Thatcher. Instead, the world was left to pygmies, people of small stature and even less ambition, who were elected not because of their expressionism, but because they did not break anything and followed the rules instead of creating their own. He means that such leaders have no value because they can make society into progress when we change nothing. If they don't do something which is different from the previous leaders, they can't be useful for the society. And maybe many thinkers speak about the unprofessionals in leadership nowadays. They argued with the possibility to rule any person from the lower classes, from the some uneducated groups, if they have some followers, some protect, some support, they can be a leader without any moral cases for such position. And like John Lloyd says, there are the same old style politicians, only with a higher level of incompetence. That means they are not competitive and not professionals in the field of management. And Dwight and Eisenhower make a conclusion that you don't become a leader by making people do things. This is violence, not a leadership. For such statement, I'd like you to remember that there is a very big difference between the words leader, manager, ruler, and so on. The main reason for leadership that you can inspire and give the example to other people. To be a leader is a very big responsibility because you have you like a model, like example to others. If you only a manager, a chief of something, you have some function and you do something for some directions, some directives, but leader makes their own conclusions, makes their own decisions, and provide something new to society. And like the leadership is connecting with different spheres, to the end of our lecture, I can mention what you should do to be a leader and from what we should start by, if we want to be a leader, how to start, yes. Mostly we can speak that leaders is always active. They find out different possibilities. They are looking forward any news, any events, and take a part in it. Also, the leaders from the early parts of early life periods understood what is the priorities for them and put the goals, some plan for whole their life, and they can change their goals for the whole process of their lives, but at the same time they understood for what reason they do some actions, for what reason they studying, for example, in what field they are going to employ, and they don't lost their abilities to not important thing for them. Also, the leader should be a responsible person and show its responsibility for words, actions, and lifestyles. Always, the leader is always innovative. That's why you don't should afraid of anything new. Get out of your conform zone, agree with something you've never done before, try any possibilities which any chance, follow desires and boldly reject your fears. And as we mentioned before, the leader is always a communicative person. they listen more carefully, and they can not only speak but also hear another people. And leaders use any possibility to create new contacts, to become friends with or partners with any peoples which can be useful in future. And also the leader should learn to understand the interest of other people. It always remember not only about themselves but about others, put the interest of other like a priority, and try to learn by whole life, find out something new, and realize it, the knowledge is in the practice, try it, and be a competitive person by the whole life, long life learning, I can say. I hope I inspired you to be a leaders, like you are almost have the high education. For this reason, you can be understood like a part of elite group. Thank you very much for your attention. It's all for today. Thank you for listening. And see you the next week. Don't forget about the final tests. I'll be waiting for the for your answers to the Telegram group.